It's episode 3, and we're talking about arguably the biggest Husker win since 2001. We're getting Tommie's takes on the game.
Oh, you're not going to play any music?
I will in a sec. That's the next part of this.
Oh, I thought, okay.
I always tease. I open the show up, and I just want to give people what we're talking about, and then we play the music. See how?
Okay, that music gets me fired up.
See, obviously, Tommie's part of the show, so we'll get Tommie's takes. We're going to look ahead to this week's big Big Ten conference matchup against the Wildcats, and then, as always, we're answering your Twitter questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the music I like right there. That's that get crunk music.
You just jumped the gun.
Just jump it, baby. You know, it's something we probably need to start off all the time. Just have it slowly increase into the show.
I guess I could have started it earlier. Talked over it a little bit, and then...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know. See, I can add a little something to this. You know, I am the executive producer, you know.
Well, we're learning as we go, right? The format and learning as we go.
We're only improving the show. That's what it's all about. If you're not improving, you're not moving very far.
And I love this music, even though it doesn't have the intro. Like, I like the last intro where it had you running the play call and everything. But I really like the music.
Well, the music's a lot better.
We get to talk over it.
Music's a lot better. We can talk over it. And you know what? It was a fun time Saturday. It was a fun time Saturday. You know, I actually got down to the game late.
Did you go to the game?
I went down to tailgate. I didn't actually go in the game. You know, but by the time I got down there, it was like 10 minutes before kickoff. You know, my son had a baseball game that started at 11 o'clock, and then that was over by 1:45. So my two nieces came up to watch my son play, and I rode back to Lincoln with them. And by the time I got there, you know, everybody was going to the game. So I said, I'm just going to sit out here at the tailgate. Because I had 2 tickets.
Yeah.
I had 2 tickets, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to sit out here. So I gave them to my nieces. They went in the game, and they came out about 5 minutes later. About 5 minutes into the game, so they couldn't find the seats because there's so many people in this section to where they couldn't even get to their seats. So it was like it wasn't even worth it.
We've gone, you know, it's funny. We've gone to several games that we actually don't go in, or we go in for a quarter and then we'll come out and tailgate. We almost had more fun with that because some of those sections, they are so packed in there.
Yeah, and that's what they said. That they got up there and actually people weren't sitting in their seats, but just couldn't get to them because there was just so many people in there. I think they oversold. Because you know, if you can't get to your seat when you have a ticket stub, something's going on. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that.
No,
you know,
350 sellouts now, right?
350 straight sellouts, and we had a blast at tailgate. We had a TV out there where we watched the game, so we probably had about another 20, 30 people sitting around watching on one TV, and we had a good time.
For those that don't know, that is 2-time national champ Tommie Frazier talking. I am the co-host, Dan Powers, and, of course, we're here every week to talk about Husker football. This week, no exception by any means.
No exception. Hey, and I got the prediction right from last week. I didn't get the total score, but I said Nebraska will win by 3.
You said by 3.
I think I said it was 38-35 or something like that.
I went way higher than that, so I was way off. I said by a touchdown, but you were right there with 3.
I said 3. You know, I told you anytime the odds makers in Vegas keep it anywhere from 3.5 to 2.5, they know it's a toss-up game, and then all they're trying to do is get money to transfer back and forth from each side so they break even.
Well, it was a roller coaster ride. But wait, before we even do that, you were talking about what you did for the game. Let me tell you what I did for the game.
What did you do?
I wanted to go to the game, and I actually had tickets I had to get rid of because this game we have a friend of ours, Mike Tracy, for him listening, him and his family do an annual cook-off.
Okay, is that the chicken wing cook-off?
That is the chicken wing cook-off, and my wife has to go to the chicken wing cook-off. Very competitive. You know the story. Like she's seen the last couple of years and everything. So a couple of years ago, she took first place, her first time in it.
She took my recipe a couple of years ago.
Well, she took first place that year.
I know, it was my recipe.
Last year, didn't work out so well. She took third. She was super disappointed.
So she's a second loser.
Yeah, second. But this year, she came back with a vengeance. Saturday morning, she had nothing prepared. She didn't know what the recipe, and she started throwing things together, and she took first place.
Nice.
That's her. She won a rubber chicken trophy.
Yeah,
that's the prize.
It could look like something like I'm over there choking a chicken over there. It's hanging up on the wall over there.
So she was super stoked, super excited.
Well, congratulations to April. I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll hear all about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I will once we get done here.
But moving on to the game.
Yes, sir.
More importantly, I want to give you an interesting stat here before we even talk too much about the game. I bet you don't know this, but since the Purdue game last year, Nebraska has gone 6-1, and they have gone 3-1 against top 25 teams.
I knew that. I didn't know they went 3-1 versus top 25 team, but I knew they went 6-1.
6-1.
And what was the one loss?
Iowa, where
right.
there was an interception at the end of the game. Like, they had a chance at that game even.
Yeah, they lost it. Tommie threw that fourth interception. Yeah. That's when they went down and scored the last touchdown to seal the victory.
Yep.
Yeah, but I knew that they won 6 out of 7 games, which is good. Which shows that, hey, since Purdue game, they started gelling as a team, and that's what you want to see. And of course, it was late in the season, but they started trusting the coaching staff. And when you have a new staff and you see players starting to trust you, good things happen.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting. Everybody looks at seasons but really that kind of tells a little bit of a story that there's some trust happening.
They're 6-1 and 6-1 the last 7 games. That's not a lot of teams out in America they can say that.
No. And the one game they lost, they were in every bit of that. And that turned out to be right at that time. I think Iowa was 4 or 5 in the nation.
Yeah, they were ranked high.
So I'm not saying this team's back, but there's something jiving there.
They're not back, because they're a young football team, and we all know that. But what I'm watching is a lot of young players stepping up, making plays, and getting that experience, and a lot of the older guys, such as the Armstrongs and the Westerkamps, buying into, and again Nick Garrett's buying into what this staff is telling them, because I see them doing things this year that I haven't seen them do in the 3 previous years. Yeah. They're not making the same mistakes. They look like they're trying to do what they're being taught to do, coached to do. And then that's how you know these players are bought in. And when you get your seniors to buy in like they are, just imagine how this is going to filter down to the younger guys.
I can't wait.
Oh, what is that, Cubert? That's got to look like video game sound going on. It's game time. Game time, baby, game time.
That wasn't the right button, obviously, but that's still it works.
It sounds like a video game, so it works.
So, Oregon, right? The Ducks come into Lincoln this past Saturday and gave us a hell of a game. And you know what's interesting about this? Well, Nebraska, of course, pulls off the win 35-32. But this is the first time Nebraska has been unranked and beat a ranked opponent since Notre Dame in 2001.
That's been a long time. It's good. It's good for that they finally beat a top-notch opponent. And people look at Oregon and say, well, Oregon's not Oregon of the past. Well, people, let me just say this. The team that Nebraska just beat going to win a lot of games this year. But they also have the second most wins in the last 6 or 7 years in college football behind only one school, Alabama. Nebraska would love to be saying that right now. And so when you beat a team like Oregon, who's on a national scheme, who actually has played for more championships here in the last 4 or 5 years than any other school outside of Alabama, in Ohio State, there's something with that program, and and I'm not saying that they're world beaters, because of course they, some of the problems that we say we have at Nebraska with coaches' decisions sometimes and way players making dumb mistakes. Oregon is the same way. There were some decisions in that game that the coaching staff was making. I was like, what? Yeah. Why are you going for 2 so many times? Just imagine if they kick those field goals after every time they score instead of going for 2.
I thought that was really interesting. I don't know what they were doing.
That was the oddest thing I ever seen. It truly was. Every time you score, you go for 2.
Every single time.
What is that doing? Now hindsight 2020. Now if you say, okay, let's kick 3 of the field goals. Game goes in overtime. Yeah. Or you kick 4 of the field goals. You win by 1. But I'm happy that they did go for 2, and guess what? We ended up winning.
Yeah, absolutely. Won. And I thought they did a nice thing before the game. I don't know if you've seen this. I didn't see it until today. But they actually brought a bouquet of flowers and put it on a 27-yard line.
I did see that. When they came on live broadcast on ABC,
did they show that?
They showed that it was like pregame type deal, and they put it down there. What shows is college football is a brotherhood. Yeah. And it doesn't matter whether a player played for you or did not. It's one big family. It's college sports, and you pray and you root for everybody to play, even though you're competitors. Death is a universal thing.
Well, Northwestern this coming up week we'll talk about in a few minutes, but they're wearing the 27 sticker on the helmet this week too.
Right. So what it showed you that Sam Foltz he was cared about by a lot of people in the college football world, and his story for what he did not only on the football field but in the community and how he touched so many people in the state is spreading, and that's a good thing. Through death comes a lot of excitement and a lot of good things, and through his death, a lot of good things are coming out. It's showing that how college football as a whole can come together and for a common goal and a common cause.
I love it. There's nothing like it. I love Saturday game day.
Oh, Saturday! But this Saturday here, I'm telling you, that with the atmosphere just around the stadium, and then the atmosphere in the stadium, and then the atmosphere after the game. This reminds me, and I hate going back to the 90s.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that time, just the atmosphere, how the crowd and the fans were so excited, even pregame, as they were walking across a pedestrian bridge from the north side, you could just tell they were pumped for this game.
I told you even last week how important I thought for Husker fans, how important this game was. Like, we have not had that win in so long. And I know we beat Michigan State last year, and they were a great team.
But that was a different field, though.
That is a different field. That's conference.
But see, the difference between Oregon and Michigan State, no one didn't think we had a chance to beat Michigan State.
Yeah.
Because of the way the season was going. So it was like, okay, well, we're not very good, but we hope that we beat them. And when we beat them, it was like, wow. And that's when you saw the ruckus in the stadium. This week, everyone expected us to beat Oregon because they saw what we had. They saw the way the team was playing. And they went out there, and they started slow. They started slow, but they kept fighting. They were persistent. The coaches didn't get outside of that game plan, and they battled and made it a great game.
I'm still frustrated with how slow they've been starting every week, but
it's not hurting them, though.
It has not.
It has not hurt them. The defense has done well enough.
Yep.
And they kept them in the games.
So let me ask you this. So on a human side, you've been in this kind of role. Tommie, as a senior, really put this game on his back.
Right.
What do you think this meant to somebody like Tommie, to have this kind of win in his senior year in that atmosphere? I can't even imagine
I think people making more of it than he is.
Yeah.
Because when you're the quarterback, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. And when times are bad and times aren't going well, it's up for the guy who's the leader, the signal caller, to step up and make the plays.
Yeah.
And he made the plays when it counted. And people are still hard on him because he make a couple bad plays in the game, a couple bad throws. Yes, but guess what? People, it's football. I have never seen anyone or person play the perfect game. I have never seen anyone who make all the right decisions. It just so happens that all his mistakes stand out more. But that's okay. At the end of the day, and I said it last week, at the end of the day, the bottom line, the goal of the game is to do what? Win. And that's what they did. They won. They found a way to win the football game.
I think he showed his real true colors this game. Like, people picked on him, and we've had highs and lows with him, but, man, he took some licks.
And people still going to pick on him. Let him go out and not perform well this week.
I think there's a small handful of haters or whatever that, there's people. You're right. If he doesn't perform this week, there'll be those people, because we've gotten to that groove where people are so pissed off about the last 10 years.
Yeah, and you can't do anything about the last 10 years. All you can do is base it off this year. And is this team better than what it was last year?
Well, the records show it is.
No, seriously. Not even just the record, just by the players on the field, how they're executing, how they're playing.
Absolutely.
Are they better?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it doesn't mean that that's going to turn into victories, but are they being coached better? Are they playing better?
Just think about all the ridiculous penalties we had last year on defense.
Yeah, and we still have some ridiculous penalties, but guess what? Last week they had 12 penalties?
Yeah. This
week they only had 7. So obviously they're focusing on the mental aspect of the game, because a lot of the penalties they had last week were personal foul stuff.
Yeah.
How many personal foul penalties do they have this week? Maybe one that I can remember, if that.
Do they even have one?
Yeah, but a lot. But now if they can get rid of the pre-snap stuff, the false starts, stuff like that, then they're gonna be fine. Holding penalties, stuff like pass interference penalties, that stuff happens. That's part of the game. But the jumping offside, the false starts, that's all mental. But this team is better than what they were last year.
Yeah, definitely are. And I think Tommie's a big leader of that. He showed us, like I say, he took some licks and he got back up. And when they brought Riker Fife in, my heart dropped. No disrespect to Riker Fife, but not this game.
Well, I don't know if my heart dropped, but I just feel okay. Well, they got to find another way to pull this off. So who's gonna step that game up? Yeah, but good thing it was just cramps. And
when he walked back on the field,
they gave him IVs on the sideline.
I can't think. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been that excited to see a quarterback that had just been taken off come back on the field, or any player.
Right. I mean, when he was playing well.
He was playing well.
And he had control. He had control of the game, and that's what people doesn't understand. That when you look at that game, he was never rattled. Even when he couldn't complete passes or whatever, he was never rattled. He was in total control of what he was trying to get done, and it showed. I still remember last week people said, well, we couldn't run the football. We threw the ball too much. Well, I guess that was the game plan to win that game. What am I hearing this week? Oh, we had a balanced attack. We rushed for over 200 yards. We threw over 200 yards.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That's what this game was supposed to be like. That's how the coach called. That's how it performed. Now, they only average less than 5 yards a carry. But guess what? They stayed persistent with it. They kept pounding. It wore them down. And it actually set up the passing game.
It did a really good job with it. Should we do your Tommie takes and see what your
I think I already did my Tommie takes in the opening segment, didn't I?
I don't know.
Oh.
I like to say number one, number two.
Oh, number one, number two.
Okay,
my top five. Top five takeaways from the game, huh?
Yeah, I like the top 5 takeaways. People like the top 5. People like lists.
I don't know why, because lists all do is lists going to get you in trouble down the road. Because you know what lists does? It forces people to go back and see what you said and say, wait a minute, you said you changed your mind so many times.
Well, you know what's interesting is this one, you could actually probably, if you really thought about it, you could probably rattle off 10 things real easily. The worst part about this list is you got to only do 5.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Number five. I was very happy to see Tommie step up and take control of the game. And of course, people gonna say, well, he's supposed to do that. Right. But after everything he's been through and playing a big game versus a top 25 team at home and to put on a performance that you did, what more can you say about him? I mean, people are always going to find something negative to say about what he did, what he didn't do. Let's get off what he didn't do. Let's get on to what did he do. And he put his team on his back.
Yep.
And led him to a victory. Okay. Number 4, the running game.
Ooh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, no, you didn't. The running game because here's the reason why. There were no big runs outside of Tommie's touchdown run.
Yeah.
So what that showed me that they were going to stick with the running game because they knew that they had to run the ball. They can't sit back there and throw the ball 60 times a game. And they had 47 rushes. That's pretty. And the 47 rushes, and I think they had 40-some passes. 37. 37
like
passes.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be balanced, and they're not trying to sit back there and have time to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game.
No.
But 37 times, that's a balanced offense to me. When you look at other schools, they're throwing the ball 60, 70 times a game. Look at Washington State. Washington State probably throwing the ball 80 times a game.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they're balanced and they're more run pass than they are pass run. That's totally different what they were last year.
Yep.
So they're sticking with the run.
All right.
Oh, number three, the punt return game. My main man finally made a play. He finally got some confidence. And we kept preaching from week 1. We got to give him a chance. And people, what you saw. When he gets a chance, he has the opportunity to make something happen. Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. He made something happen. And when we were talking off air, there was another punt that he fair caught it too early to where just imagine what he could have done with that.
He could have. He looked like he might have got.
He probably got another 15.
Or
just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that one punt return that he did helped Nebraska win that football game.
Oh, he changed the tide. The momentum shifted.
Because it was right before it happened. People don't remember when Nebraska fumbled the ball, the back was loud, Oregon got the ball, went down, because they were up 20-7, I think it was.
I think at that time there was.
They were up 20-7, and Nebraska went out and scored. They turned the ball over. Oregon got it down. They stopped them. And that punt return put Nebraska in position to go down and score a touchdown to bring it to a one-score game.
Yeah.
At halftime.
I think that was like a 45-yard return.
It was a 45-yard return. So that was big there.
I think now you're right. He's got confidence again.
And that's all he needed. All he needed was one play, one return like that to show him that, you know what, I still can do what I've done.
Can't wait to see him the rest of the year.
So I'm excited about it. I am so excited. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I am pumped. I'm so happy that he's wearing number 15 now. I'm so happy. Number two, my main man, the tight end extraordinary, Carter. We talked about it last week that they got to get him involved in the game. And guess what, people? 5 catches for 48 yards. Only bigger thing's going to happen for him.
Yeah.
They're going to find other ways to get him in the run game. They're going to find, this is a guy that you will see play on Sundays.
Yeah.
That's the type of talent that he has.
He's a big boy.
And he might not be a high draft pick, but guess what? Just make a team. You make a team, he's going to be on there.
Yeah.
Look at people always talk about the tight end for the Redskin, Reed.
Oh, Reed?
He wasn't a high draft pick, but look at him. He's NFL, just make the team. So Danny Langsdorff, Mike Riley, I know if you're listening to me, he is your secret weapon there because he can play a slot, he can go on outside, you can put him at the H-back and you hand the ball around, he can block. He can do it all. So get him involved and keep him involved in the game because he can only he's only going to help your offense.
He really is the secret weapon there. No one really offseason was talking heavily about him.
No, because he wasn't targeted much last year.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Towards the end of last year is when I was like, whoa, who's this kid? Oh, he's a big kid. He can run. But now you're going to start seeing things.
He's a weapon.
Welcome to college football there, Carter. Way to go. Way to go. And number one, Westerkamp.
Oh, that's a good one.
Westerkamp.
Holy crap, did he turn in?
I'm telling you guys, this guy has some hands on him, and he's just a solid receiver to me. And people don't shoot me when I say this, or don't. I know you're gonna beat me up on Twitter World or Facebook, but he reminds me of a Jordy Nelson.
Yeah,
the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, from Green Bay. Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of. His length, his size, his hands, how he runs routes. I think he's that type of receiver, and with him, he's only gonna get better. But just looking at receiving core, you got Moore, you got Westerkamp, then you got throwing Carter at the tight end.
You got Riley.
But here's what people are forgetting: you still got Stanley Morgan Jr.
Yeah,
he probably has the most upside out of all of them.
Yeah, you still got him out there. We haven't seen a lot from him yet.
And who's the one kid? Reimers.
I never even know who he is.
I didn't know he was until he called a touchdown pass. Like, who's this white kid? Well, are we becoming the New England Patriots?
Holy, out of nowhere. Apparently he was tearing it up on the scout team last year.
Yeah, so I'm just telling people there's something good happening at Nebraska right now. And what we need to do is keep building them. Are they going to have some bumps in the road? Yes, they are. Are they going to win every game? Probably not. But let's continue building because I'm going back to this my last time. The way they were last year at this time to where they are this year, total different football team.
Yeah.
You see a lot more confident guys out there. You see a lot more players who was excited out there making plays. And I even thought I forgot, this could have been my top guy. Michael Ivy. I mean, I saw him make some plays. I'm like, where has this been? I always knew he had a potential.
Yeah, you said it last week.
I always knew he had the potential, but
need that guy on the field.
We need him on the field.
Something
and get him on the field. If it's a nickel package to where him and Drew and Young on the field or Noob, get those guys on the field because they're playmakers.
They are.
I don't think we're gonna find a team much faster than Oregon on offense. I don't even think Ohio State is as fast as Oregon on offense.
Well, they proved themselves to that, and they ran right. They put up yards.
Oh, jeez, and just defense. I have to take my head off to the defense because they had a difficult task of trying to stop a high-powered offense, and they gave up 32 points. Okay, but it still had Oregon up under their average of 48 points.
Oh yeah.
So defense. Kudos to you.
They did.
You my code number one to the defense because you guys slow the offense down that not very many teams have been able to slow down in college football.
They played fantastic.
Yeah,
we haven't seen a defense play like that in a complete game in a long time.
Yeah, conceptually they were there. They were right there in fits. Now football is still an individual sport. Once the guys that make plays and I hear people say, well, those guys make guys miss. Well, they're on scholarship too, aren't they? They're supposed to make guys miss. Yeah. The best player going to make the play. And I'm telling you, that freshman, was it the freshman running back that came in for Royce Freeman? Number 20?
I don't remember.
The one who scored on first.
He was good.
Wow, I'm telling you, they got 3 running backs who look like they're very easily run 4 threes.
I don't remember the coach's name over there, but I remember afterwards he made comments and said, hey, we're deep at running back.
Yes.
We're deep. Like,
it showed.
Yeah.
Now, quarterback might be a little. He's a senior.
Yeah,
but I think they can do better there.
Yeah, probably.
I think they had a lot better there last year.
I didn't understand what was going on. That fourth down at the end of the game, they hiked the ball off and it looked like the play broke down or something, but he just kind of froze there. The quarterback, and then
he didn't know what to do, so he just took off running.
Yeah.
Which is okay for Nebraska. They were like 4th and 18.
We could do that.
Yeah, he was 4th and 18. Let him try to scramble for 18 yards against our defense, a quarterback.
Well, I wonder how much of that just was the atmosphere and the crowd getting into it and helping with cause that confusion.
Yeah, I heard from someone. One of my buddies was rooting for Oregon, and I guess he had a cousin or a relative play for Oregon, and he made a comment. He called me after the game and congratulated me because he owes me a steak dinner. Now, I'm not going to say his name, but he owes me a steak dinner. And he said that his cousin said this was probably the loudest place they ever played in.
It was great for recruiting.
Yes.
Great.
It was great for recruiting. And that's the type of atmosphere Nebraska fans that even if Nebraska don't win the game, still bring it. Because what you don't realize, when those recruits come in there and see the excitement of the fans getting win or lose, that makes them want to be part of it. That makes them want to be part of it. So continue to get rowdy, even versus Illinois, even versus Purdue, even versus Ohio, whoever we play here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, make it tough. Don't take a game off now.
All right. Any other thoughts about this Oregon game? I mean, we could talk about this.
We can talk about it, but I'm just happy that Nebraska did find a way to win it, and win it for the fans, win it for themselves more than anything.
I'm super happy for Riley.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for him because you could just tell that he's genuinely cares about this team.
Yeah.
And when you got a coach that way, you want to win for him. It's just like when we play with Coach Osborne, we genuinely want to win for him because we cared for him. There's a lot of teams out there with coaches where the players really don't care for them, but they have to win because it's their job, and the coach can go find somebody else.
We've had a couple of those.
Yeah, but I can honestly say that this team truly cares for Coach Riley.
Agreed. All right, let's move on to this coming week. Not maybe as high-profile game, but still an important game because of the series and where it's at. So Nebraska's heading up to Evanston.
Yeah, Evanston,
to
Illinois.
Play the Wildcats. So I think we're split. Yeah, so Nebraska's split. We lead this series right now 3-2 since we've been in the Big Ten, but they have given us a run every single game.
Yeah, it's amazing how this team right here always has Nebraska's number, and it's just the damnedest thing. I don't get it. But they always play Nebraska tough. And when you watch this team versus Western Michigan, and you watch them last week, it's like who is it? This and then when they go to Nebraska, like a totally different team. It's like it's like they go and recruit guys that they had on the bench and bring them out there and like, okay, let's go play ball now. But I'm thinking it's going to be a close game. I really am. I for some reason, I just have that feeling because it's always been a close game. Every time they play, it's always been a touchdown, or 3 points, or 1 point, or last play of the game type deal. Northwestern's going to be prepared. I know the coach very well. He's going to have his team prepared because they kind of don't like Nebraska in per se, because there's a ton of Nebraska fans in Illinois right now, in Chicago, talking. So do you think they're not going to be prepared?
Well, this is 4 out of 5 games, right? The 3-2. Nebraska leads the series, but 4 out of 5 games have been decided by 3 or less points.
I believe that. And last time Nebraska played, it was 2 points. I think that was like a late touchdown pass.
Last game last year was 28-30.
Yeah, and that was here.
Yeah, that was here. We lost that game.
We lost that game here. Yeah,
28-30.
I think we missed a field goal, or somebody kicked the field goal to win the game at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's people don't count Northwestern out, because they do have a pretty good running back. He's one of the top running backs in the conference. So we had trouble with him last year, from what I remember.
I mean, if you look at, I won't go through all the stats, but I got a bunch of stats here. And if you look at where the total offense is, like Nebraska right now is listed, at least prior to this weekend, we were 36 total offense. They're at 100. And that, scoring offense, Nebraska's 18. They're 117. Like, they don't, it's kind of odd because this doesn't reflect very positively.
No.
And it looks like on paper that we should run wild on these guys.
No, and go back to last year.
Yeah.
I mean, go back 2 years ago. Go back to I think the first year when they were in the Big Ten. Nebraska was in the Big Ten, and they beat us here.
They beat us 25-28.
And go back and look at the offenses there.
Yeah.
I mean, so it doesn't matter where they're ranked. It's football. People is all about matchups, and how coaches match up versus other coaches. And for some reason, Fitzgerald has found a way to have his team prepared to give Nebraska a tough go. And so I'm not looking at this game being any different, especially with that field that they're playing on.
Well, hopefully they don't give Tommie the run that the Ducks did. He took a pounding this past week. So hopefully Tommie has a little bit easier game plan. But predictions?
I think Nebraska will win this game. Right now they're favored by 6, I think. I think they'll win about 14. I think they'll win a 2-touchdown game. If they just go out there and put in business-like work.
Yeah.
And execute their game plan, I think, because I don't think they're gonna be able to do much offensively on our defense because they haven't done anything all year.
No, you're right, and our defense is just improving.
Yes, so I'll be shocked if our defense give up more than 10 points versus a team.
Yeah.
Now, if we turn the ball over deep in our territory or something like that, then that's what. But them actually getting the ball, starting to drive 20 yards or 25 yards and driving down the field, I'd be shocked if we give up 10 points versus this team. Because they've only scored 17 once, and that was last week. And they had to score that late.
Yep.
So
they've been struggling. It's crazy what's going on
up there.
It's
struggling.
I agree. I think it'll be a closer game than what most people think it is. Well, I don't know. I think most people think it's going to be a close game, but I think one thing I've learned about Riley recently is he seems like when they have a game plan that they're not afraid to stick to that game plan. Even when the running game, as you said earlier, they're not producing high amount of yards, but you know what? He didn't abandon that. They didn't.
Yeah.
They stuck to their plan, and they
run, baby, run.
They made some adjustments. By the way, we didn't talk about this in the last segment about this, but how ballsy was it when there was three minutes left in the game and they go for it 4th and 9?
What? While they were down?
Holy crap!
They were down, and they knew that if Oregon got the ball back and go down and score, it's going to be out of reach.
I mean,
because they were down they were down by what, 5?
Yeah, at that time, and
they're down 4.
They were. Yeah, they're down. Either way, they're down.
They're down 4. So if they don't get the first down, Oregon go down and kick a field goal. Now they need a touchdown to win the game. Period.
They said they debated. Like at first, they thought they were going to punt and try to hold them, and then I've seen Riley made a comment and said, "Hey, let's put this on our shoulder.
Yes,
and let's go for it.
If we lose this game, it's going to be because our decision, not because they took the ball down and scored on us." And it's good. And
damn, that's a great.
Hey, a gutsy call, but it worked out.
God damn,
So it worked out.
All right, I know we're talking Northwestern, but Jesus.
But there's not much to really talk about Northwestern.
No. We'll see where it is next week.
We might come back in here with our heads up our tails saying we should talk about Northwestern a little bit more. But they just haven't really given us anything to really talk about, to elaborate on.
All right, we got a social question for you.
Ooh, social. I love social media questions,
I think Dan Corey was the person that originally put this out. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Dan Corey put it out, and then Andrew Roll.
Yeah, Roll 113.
Well, yeah, 113.
Yeah.
Kind of asked a follow-up question, and it kind of plays into a question I was going to ask you anyway. So before you answer, let me go back. I'm going to tie these two things together, or at least I'm going to try to. So he brought up the whole alternative uniforms, and he says, hey, did people freak out about the white uniform look back in your day too? And it's kind of interesting because I was actually going to ask you at the beginning, and I decided to wait. You actually tell the story, and you talk about how one of your favorite games is you as a senior going to Colorado, and especially that first play when you're getting tackled and you're falling over and you throw the ball to Amon, and Amon takes it 90 yards or whatever it was. Amon runs the distance for the touchdown. That was
an option play. The first play of the game.
And you were getting sacked, right? And as you're falling,
no. That was late in the second quarter.
So
we're going down. We're going down.
I merged in 2 plays
and threw it to him on the sideline. He took it down to like the 10-yard line.
So I was watching, and I think it was Dan had originally posted it, and that's where this question came from. But in I think it was 92, you played Iowa State.
Yes, 92
in Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
And goddamn, you made a play where
I was falling down and threw to Lance Lewis and for a touchdown.
You actually shook about 4 tackles in that play, and then you finally got hit. And as you're heading down to the ground, you're really close to the ground. You get that ball off somehow about 6 yards, and he runs 20 yards for the touchdown. And so even though that game didn't pan out the way we wanted it to,
you think?
Well. I still wanted to bring up, like, God damn, that was a great play. You always talk about the Colorado one, but that play to me even was more impressive than anything I've seen in the Colorado game. You don't have to agree or disagree, but
hey, that's your play you enjoyed.
It was a good play, but it sparked this question.
Okay.
So the question is, did people freak out and hate the uniforms back in the 90s when you were there?
No, because I think that was the year that we did all white. We started the season off in all white. University of Washington, University of Washington, we played there and we lost to them. Then we go to, I think it was Missouri, second road game, and we won in Missouri. And then we lost to them in Iowa State. And then I think we won one more time that year and won. But after that year, we were like, no, we're going back to the red pants, white jerseys. Because it was just our psyche that we didn't care for the all white. Because we didn't have very good results when we did play them. So that was our deal. But you deal with different times now. You deal with different times, different kids to where I never thought the day I see Nebraska in all black. I never thought the day I see Nebraska in all red. Well, I know they did it in the 80s with Steve Taylor then, but we never, when I was there, we never thought about the all red. No, I thought it was kind of ugly. anyway. But you know, Adidas has a contract.
Yeah,
and so they have one. They can pick one game to where Nebraska has to wear a different type of uniform, and I actually like them.
Oh, what?
I actually like them.
I thought you were going to absolutely hate on them.
No, I'm not going to hate them. I actually, out of all the alternative uniforms that Nebraska's had, I like these better. Now, if left to me, I thought they could have did something with the white jerseys and the red pants that way. But I actually think they're pretty cool.
I think they are the best alternative uniform that we've seen to date, and I love the chrome face mask.
And I'm not gonna give up where I was earlier today. While I was at my apparel store, and I actually saw the replica of one of the white helmets, the white chrome helmets. It's actually pretty sharp looking. I'll be the first one. You know me, I'm very don't mess with them.
Yeah,
but I actually think the thing is gonna be pretty cool.
I thought you were gonna hate them for sure, man.
I'm a man of surprises. Come on now.
I know the tradition. Everybody likes the tradition, but these ones are slick. That chrome and the white, it looks really sharp.
Yes. I mean, that's what they're doing is appeasing to Nebraska recruits.
That's really what it's about,
right? That's all it's about. Because if they didn't do that, and all the recruits seeing Michigan doing theirs, or you know what all sparked this was who?
The Ducks.
Yes, with their 27 different uniforms but I think
you don't hear anybody talk about Maryland. They got a
no Maryland. They're disgusting.
Oh my god,
they're disgusting. Under Armour needs to fire whoever's in the creative department over there because those are just horrible.
Well, I think I heard last year they have it's crazy 12 different pairs of pants and 12 different jerseys, and the captains actually picked the combinations.
Yep. Kevin Plank, he played football at Maryland, was a Maryland alum, and he gives them what they want. It's kind of like Phil Knight and Nike. He gives Oregon what they want. So
they look nuts.
Yeah, but I think and also with that logo, with that what is that, like the turtle on one side and like the chuckle, that's too much. But I actually like the alternatives this year. I'll be the first one. You know me, I don't really too much care for messing around with Nebraska uniforms, but I'm excited to see how these look up under the light too.
I don't know if it's going to get any better than that. We should end the show.
Yes, I think so too.
Surprising. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. This show is recorded live each week, live to tape, thus the errors and the stutter and everything else that I do.
And that I do too. But that's okay. I got so much trying to go through this mind and get all the information I can.
You're so excited.
Yeah, I'm just excited.
If you haven't already, you can head over to iTunes and subscribe. See, there's the stuttering. Just subscribe.
Hey, at least we keep it real. We're not fake on this show. You're going to get the real live version of what we do.
This is it.
This is live podcasting.
It's it. Well, you can get this podcast anywhere, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you like to get your podcast. It's also on Facebook.
Also at touchdowntommy.com or at touchdowntommy Twitter. Or, anything you want to go find with at Touchdown Tommy, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
That's about all I got for you.
It's everywhere. Touchdown Tommy wherever. And Tommy was an IE. You don't know how many people actually say Tommy. I looked it up.
You know what? I'm bringing this up. So some guy sent me a bad email one time saying, Tom, I'm so upset that you don't know how to say Coach Osborne name. Yeah. Tom Osborne, you say it. And I replied to him, I say, this comes from a person who don't know how to spell my first name. And he sent me back a reply, say, oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, I really need to buy the domain name Touchdown Tommy with the Y. I should do that before this goes out and just redirect it because everybody asks about that.
Yeah,
how do you not know that?
Oh, a lot of people do. It is what it is.
They should know in this state.
That they should, but they don't.
Oh well, they'll figure it out
eventually.
Maybe
when I'm dead.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to spell it wrong.
On the gravestone?
Yep.
Are you going to be buried in Florida or Nebraska?
I'm going to be buried in Florida. I'm going back home to be buried.
Going home.
Yeah, I already got my plot.
Oh. Jumping the gun, are we? You are getting old.
I'm just being prepared. That's all I'm doing. Man. It's going to happen one day.
Yeah, it will.
Just rather later than sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to see another national champion before that happens.
Well, I might be dead before that happens.
Good place to end.
Yes. Till next week.